Welcome to the July edition of What's in Bloom at the Ruth Bancroft Garden. We put together a sheet to give to visitors each month on things that are in bloom in that particular month. And now, as we have gone past the summer solstice and are into the heat of summer, we've got a lot of summer things going on, including large agaves coming into bloom, like the Agave franciscini behind me. These giants make an enormous production when they come into flower, and summer is a great time to see this. Let's walk through some of the things that are on this month's What's in Bloom list. Salvia is a large genus in the mint family, Lamiaceae, and they are found in the Old World too, but the New World has a great many species, and I see them all the time on my travels to Mexico. Now, some of these occur at higher elevations where the rainfall is greater, and they aren't all that drought tolerant, but a lot of our native California ones have a great deal of drought tolerance, including this one, Salvia pachyphylla. Pachyphylla means thick leaf, and I suppose the leaves have a little thickness to them for a salvia, but really what you notice much more about it is the beautiful bluish leaves, kind of turning yellow as they get older, and then the spires of flowers with a blue-purple color. The calyxes are more purplish, and the open flowers are bluer, but together they make a wonderful color effect when it comes into bloom. Long blooming season during the summer months, Salvia pachyphylla. Agaves or century plants are an iconic part of the Ruth Bancroft Garden. We have a lot of them, from big sprawling ones like Agave franciscini to smaller and more compact ones, such as this one, Agave victoriae-reginae. So this plant is famous for its neat rosette of leaves that have wonderful white stripes on them, look like they've been painted on, and it comes from northeast Mexico near Monterrey and westward from there. It takes quite a while to come into bloom. So this one is a little over 20 years old and now finally setting up its stalks. Some of its siblings have not flowered yet, but undoubtedly will in the coming years. So when it flowers, the growing point, the middle of the plant, extends upward and becomes this large, looks sort of like an asparagus shoot, and then come the flowers. So as we film this at the end of June, the flowers have not quite yet opened, but we'll insert some pictures of the open flowers so you can see what they look like. They're white or off-white in color. A lot of agaves are yellow, but not this one. So Agave victoriae-reginae can be single-headed like this one is, and that means when it flowers, that's the end of the line because the plant will die, and with no pups to continue, that will be the end of it. It will be all up to the seeds to make a next generation. But other forms of the species do make offsets, and then when the mother plant dies, then you can keep on growing those offsets. This is a plant that grows on limestone cliffs in habitat and does well, as you can see, not growing on a cliff too. But the size of the flower in relation to the plant is really an eye-opener. It's really quite unexpected. An amazing plant, Agave victoriae-reginae. Ferocactus is a genus of cacti from Mexico and the southwest United States, and collectively they are known as barrel cacti. Now, barrel cactus is really a description of a body type rather than an exact scientific term. And there are plants like the golden beryl that are also referred to as barrel cacti that are in other genera besides Ferocactus, but the majority of the ones we call barrel cacti are in Ferocactus, like this one. This is Ferocactus pottsii from Sonora in northwestern Mexico. So it has this large barrel-like body with sharp spines on it, and then the flowers come out around the top. And after the flowers, it makes these wonderful fruits that are yellow and sort of look like little pineapples, and those are very long-lasting. So here is the new flower from this year, and buds coming, and then around are the old flowers from last year. So they've lasted an entire year. And so they make a wonderful, cheery display of little pineapples on top of the plant year-round. Ferocactus pottsii is usually single-headed, but once in a while, like this one over here, you can have one that has more than one head. They are wonderful, large, impressive plants, and we've grown them here in the garden for many years. Ferocactus pottsii. Maybe it's worth mentioning that this particular Ferocactus pottsii It's actually a world-famous plant. When the English author John Pilbeam, who's written many books on cacti and succulents, decided to do a book on Ferocactus, he wanted a picture of Ferocactus pottsii planted out in a garden. So I sent him a picture of this plant, and that was maybe almost 20 years ago. And so that illustrates the species in his book. And in the meantime, it's gotten a lot taller than it was back then, but still with us, Ferocactus pottsii. The Bromeliaceae, or bromeliad family, is a New World monocot family. And we presume the family began in South America because that's where they're most diverse, but they also occur in Central America and the southern part of North America. So one of the South American genera is Dyckia. And this one here is a species from Brazil called Dyckia hebdingii. And it is in flower now, but the flowers are pretty small. They're right in here, and they're little yellow tubular flowers. The flower color in Dyckia is always in the yellow to orange range, sometimes with red sepals or stalks. But they range in size from pretty compact rosettes like this one to big rosettes like this on the larger species. This one here has not been in the garden very long, but it's really growing happily and has 6 stalks coming out from it. And by contrast, uphill here is another one, Dyckia beatiae, with orange flowers and larger rosettes, but also, again, very toothy leaves. The Dyckias are wonderful garden plants, easy to grow, and we've had them here since the beginning of the Ruth Bancroft Garden in 1972. Dyckia hebdingii and Dyckia beatiae. Cotyledon is a genus in the stonecrop family, or Crassulaceae, and they come from Africa. So most of the species from southern Africa, including this little one. This one is Cotyledon pendens, the name referring to the fact that it grows in a pendant fashion. It hangs down. In nature, it grows on rocks and hangs down on the rocks. Here, we have it in a little pocket between the rocks, but you can see that the stems want to go sideways, and where there's a place, they'll hang down. So the flowers also nod over, but they are delightful little 5-petaled flowers, like little bells with curled back tips. And the leaves have a nice little red edge on them. Very attractive plant. It's a little bit on the small side, but wonderful for a rock garden or for a hanging pot. Cotyledon pendens. That brings us to the close of our subjects for this month's video of What's in Bloom. But before I sign off, I wanted to point out a wonderful little cactus from Argentina that's in flower right now, and that's this one, Acanthocalycium thionanthum, subspecies glaucum, or sometimes just Acanthocalycium glaucum. It comes from the foothills of the Andes and has a wonderful grayish body and a little network of spines, and then these beautiful yellow flowers that come out in the summer, Acanthocalycium glaucum. Now, if you can come to the garden and see some of these plants for yourself, by all means do so. If you're farther afield and can't make it here, then check out our website. We have all kinds of things posted on there, such as the previous What's in Bloom videos and the plant highlights and Tumblr posts and other social media posts like Instagram. And we have lots of events that occur here at the garden. So check it out, the Ruth Bancroft Garden.